We're one team, one people, and one family, and we're saluting one great American flag. And everybody stood up yesterday. There was nobody kneeling at the beginning of the Super Bowl.
Glad to have the president rub that in their nose a little bit too. That was, and you can bet the folks at the NFL were breathing a sigh of relief that nobody took a knee that we could see. I kept screaming at the TV at that point, Chris Arps, show me a tight shot, because they didn't. Oftentimes they'll go down the line of players on the sideline. They didn't do that at all. They were very careful how they shot that scene at the beginning when they were doing the national anthem. They would show you the wide shot of the flag, and they'd show you the faces of like one or two players at a time on a tight shot, but they never panned down the line because I guess they were scared to death somebody was going to take a knee, and then it would end up on national television.
I think the big news here is this was the first game you watched all season, wasn't it?
I watched the end of the playoff games that got them to the Super Bowl because those were some pretty tight games.
I know you were boycotting the
I didn't
NFL
watch it all
year.
season. I didn't. And I took a little bit of grief for watching the Super Bowl, but I'm like, hey, you know what? I was invited to a party where they were serving cold beer and lots of varieties of it, and I went and drank some beer, and there happened to be a game.
You went for the ads.
I did. I don't know. I didn't care about that. I liked the Danny DeVito ad the best. Of all of them, the Danny DeVito ad was without a question was my favorite. Do you remember that one? Hold on.
Oh.
Wait for it.
Do you want to eat me?
No.
Do you want to eat me?
No thanks.
No? Would you like to eat me? Nobody wants to eat me.
Manning,
the M&M commercial.
I remember that Manning and the Odell Beckham commercial made me a little uncomfortable.
Are you not secure in your manhood, Chris?
What's
the problem?
Did I
don't
allude
know.
to anything like that?
Huh.
I just said it made me.
Nobody puts Odell in the corner.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it at first, and then it went a little farther than I was comfortable with.
That's funny. Let me get to the phones here real quick. Tony's been holding on. Tony, what's on your mind? Tony, you're there?
The whole tax cut, market going down, and all that, and I'm making that work for me because I'm taking all the money I'm saving for taxes and buying at the big sale at your favorite department store when the market's down. So use that money to buy more.
Yeah, you should. And if you're dollar cost averaging, just putting money in out of each paycheck, you'll be able to take advantage of that too. So it's a good thing.
So it's not all bad.
No.
At your favorite store.
Yeah, Tony, thank you. Thank you for the call. He makes a good point there. And I led off the show today talking about the fact that the media is trying to scare the dickens out of everybody over the market drop, and when you get down to brass tacks, it's not that big a deal.
My thought on it, and it may be somewhat original, is I think part of this is profit-taking, and part of it, too, I think the excuse is because we're maybe headed for another government shutdown, and that usually gets markets rattled.
But we're not.
I know we're not, but they can use that as an excuse to say, hey, let's take some profits.
We should probably be all very scared about what I'm about to read you, but the headline that just broke in thehill.com, Senate leaders are nearing a 2-year budget deal to prevent a shutdown.
2 years.
Senate leaders are close to a 2-year deal, according to Charles Schumer. That's why I'm afraid, because he's the one that announced it. The deal would set spending levels for fiscal years 2018 and 2019 to avoid the prospect of a government shutdown when the stopgap spending measure expires on Thursday. There are some issues still to be resolved, but we're closer to an agreement than we've ever been. Now, part of that better be improving the money they're spending on the military.
The fact that Charles Schumer is out there announcing this first tells me, in a sense, that the Republicans got maybe the better deal of it. The Democrats were telegraphing, and Dick Durbin was saying the last couple of days, there will not be a government shutdown. I think they learned their lesson from what happened a couple of weeks ago. It was a PR disaster. So I think they were quick to make any type of deal to avoid that again. So I would expect the Republicans probably got the better end of the deal. I hope we get what we wanted, funding for the wall, and no amnesty.
Kelly was quoted as saying that he didn't think the president was going to kick the can down the road on DACA. Yeah. He's not going to make a deal with them if they won't come to the table on funding a wall.
He has to fund the wall. I mean, that was a major campaign promise.
Well, no, what I'm saying is the Democrats, if they won't, he's given them everything they want, but they won't come to the table on the wall.
Yeah, I'm saying that's a major promise for Trump, so he's not going to relent on that.
Yeah, well,
not happening. If he wants to,
I hope
keep his base.
I hope he holds to his guns. I hope you're absolutely right, because I don't think he's got a lot of options here. So here's what's going to happen according to this article. There's going to be a vote either today or tomorrow on a defense appropriations bill. That vote is expected to fail. It would be a 6-week spending measure to fund military programs for a full year, but apparently doesn't have enough votes, according to one of the senior aides. If the Democrats would be the ones that blocked it, which is why they're scrambling to put together this other deal, which would tell me that it's still not a good deal for our military. I don't know why they would do that.
Democrats are never going to be for the military.
Before we run out of time, one of the other stories we wanted to discuss was this Greitens story, and reports that the ex-husband who came out with this story to the media to begin with, there's still no victim that we've ever heard from, is, according to his attorney, has been interviewed or subpoenaed by a grand jury. That's normally a secret, so I'm not quite sure what he's after, trying to go out and dig up more press on this. That's why I'm a little suspicious of Watkins' motives here.
Well, I tell you, I talked to an attorney friend of mine. He doesn't practice criminal law, but I'm sure he knows about the law. Would she be compelled to testify if she was subpoenaed?
The woman who had the affair with the governor. The woman that
had the affair with the governor. And he said that he couldn't see any point of where she would probably could turn it down. But if she was before the judge or the grand jury, they could play tapes of the alleged, or between her ex-husband and her, and the attorney could ask her, is this you on the tape? Did you do this? Did you say this? So it could be embarrassing in that moment, and she wouldn't have to answer any questions. So, I mean, this is really getting, kind of salacious.
It is getting kind of salacious, and it leads me to believe that if indeed what Watkins reported is true, and they're going to try to do something like that, that is a purely political attempt by Kim Gardner to either embarrass this governor or try to drum up some indictment against him to damage him politically.
Well, I was at Lincoln Days this weekend, being a roving reporter for 97.1, and I have to say that the enthusiasm for the governor and all of our statewide elected officials was high, and the grassroots are excited for 2018.
I'm sorry we didn't get to more on
That's
that,
all right.
because you had some details on city-county merger and some stuff you heard this weekend that
weekend report
that I'd like to talk about, and then we'll have that in the weekend report. But can you hang around for a few minutes?
Yeah, sure.
All right, maybe we can get to it a little bit in the next hour. Chris Arps, Mark Cox here. When we come back, we're going to talk. We're going to talk to Megan Barth about John McCain and the DACA deal. It's all coming up. Stick around.
This hour of the Mark Cox Show brought to you by Naputi Wellness, NaputiWellnessCenter.com.
Debt can be stressful, especially credit card debt with its outrageous